couldn't hear a word out there, could you?
Look at her smile. I think Skippy should be mayor.
I'll tell you what,
Mayor Skippy.
he'd make a good choice.
All right, 7 o'clock, I'm gonna call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Chairman Milligan,
Here?
Board Member DeWitt,
Here,
Board Member Holly, Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to excuse Miss Hawley.
Support.
Vote, please. Hey, whoever's sponsoring.
I don't know whose phone that is. You.
Leave your phone over here, Craig.
All right, whatever.
Okay.
Roll call vote, please.
Board Member DeWitt,
Yes.
Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Chairman Milligan,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, that was for Nicole, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Now we have a quorum.
All right, while she's getting seated, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, consideration for approval of the September 18th, 2025 meeting minutes as printed.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call vote, please.
Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Board Member Littlefield,
Yes.
Board Member DeWitt,
Yes.
Chairman Milligan,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, agenda item number 4, this is the general public comment section. This is not for anything on the docket tonight. That'll move agenda item number 5. If anyone has any general public comments they'd like to make, please do so. Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, a public hearing, a request filed by Tyler Castor for after-the-fact variances to construct an accessory building in a front yard and to exceed the maximum permitted size. The variances relate to section 3.130 of the zoning ordinance. Parcel is described as parcel number 700318204001, commonly known as 17652 North Shore Estates Road. Please come up and present your case.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me in tonight. I am Tyler Castor. Oh, you want me to hold the mic? All right. I am Tyler Castor, as you mentioned. So again, thanks for the time and consideration this evening. Also to the board members that were able to come out earlier this week and do a site inspection of the shed that I'm asking for a variance on to the zoning regulations. As you've seen in the application, the two different ordinances that I'm looking for a variance on. One is on the total square footage of the accessory buildings. As it's stated that it can't exceed 40% of the ground floor of the primary residence, which would come out to be 396 feet. I do already have existing a 24 by 24 garage that's on the property, positioned in front of the home. And then the shed, the 10 by 20 shed that we would be adding would obviously be an additional 200 square feet. And so bringing the total square footage for the accessory buildings on the property to 776 feet. So that's the one consideration that I'm asking for a variance on. And if the consideration that I would put behind that, the reason for the need is, but the unique home that we have on this property, this is our 5th year at this property. We've moved into a log cabin, which is kind of a unique floor plan and footprint from a square footage standpoint, but also doesn't allow for much storage within inside the home. So we have to use the garage for a significant amount of storage. And this additional accessory building is being put there in order to accommodate the different items that we have and help out with the storage and allow us to get back to using our garage for its intended purpose, which we can't do most of the time with having to, store the other items that requires for us to live on the property, such as our snow removal equipment, and our lawn equipment, and again, the associated storage of things that we can't store inside the home. And that's what it would be used for. And so appreciate your consideration in order to allow us to seek the variance on the total square footage. Should I pause there and answer any questions specific to the?
Yeah,
that
I have a
piece, or-
question.
Okay.
Could you, for the record, tell us when you bought the home?
Possibly. Let me see here. I don't know the date right off the top of my head, but I did bring the original housing documents, I believe. It strikes me that it was 19, 18, all right, I was gonna guess 17, so 2018, this is my neighbor, Brad,
Yeah.
that's here tonight to also.
Is he right, Brad?
Yeah, thank you, all right,
You
yeah.
brought the
so-
wife, she'll know.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, should've
And,
sent her.
and to your knowledge, when was the home built?
I believe the home was built in 1983 is what I recall. I might seek counsel on that too.
Early 80s.
Yeah,
Early 80s? And when you bought the home, the garage was where it is now? It was there?
that's correct. Yeah, the was already in place, which again, based on the topography of the, where our house is positioned on that lot.
Yeah.
Our house is positioned in that back rear third. And so really, I think probably the builders recognized that the only place to build an accessory building
Mhm.
was on the front side of that house.
Pardon me just a minute. Craig, would you know, in 1983, was there a city ordinance that would have prohibited the location of that garage where it is?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Was there variance in the record?
Nothing from 1983. I haven't seen anything.
Okay. All right. We're going to assume that the garage was there at the time that you purchased the home. And so I guess would have to say that you didn't need a variance for that, for the placement of that. Is that, I think that's
Reasonable.
a reasonable assumption, isn't it?
The existing garage is a non-conforming structure.
Yeah.
At this point, but was it in 1983? And was there a variance issued? That would be my question.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in 1983.
So we have no record of it, so we're gonna go with the assumption that yes, it was built with
Okay.
compliance.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Carry on.
All right, I appreciate that. So I addressed the piece around the square footage, and, the unique square footage of the home and layout that way. The other piece that we partially talked about here is seeking a variance for the shed being positioned in front of the house. The things I would point out, one, as we just talked about, is the fact that the other accessory building, the garage, was already there when we moved in, and I believe was built at the same time as the home in the early 80s. Also, if you've seen the pictures and then also read the layout, the garage is, and now the shed are positioned side by side. There was an existing gravel pad next to the garage, and that's what the shed was placed on. So we didn't have to make adjustments to land or anything else, and also it works out well that the shed is kind of positioned behind the garage and blocked from the driveway and where the closest neighbor is. Mr. Freefeld, who lives, if you're facing home, he lives to the right, which I've included his support in a letter in the application also, that the shed's not visible from his home and doesn't cause any disturbance or detraction from his perspective and his the property that he lives on. Also, I would state the fact that where the shed and the garage sit are approximately 125 feet from the road, and in between the road and the shed is all wooded area that is down lower than the actual road area. But when you stand at the road, you can't even see the garage, you can't even see the shed. So I guess I would point out the fact that I don't believe that it's detracting from or, you know, contributing to any obstruction from the view or what people have to observe of the neighborhood, as most people wouldn't even ever notice that there was a shed or a garage back there, and maybe not even a house, but you can kind of glimpse that from the driveway. Trying to think if there's anything else I should point out to you here. I guess the one thing that I was thinking that I wanted to point out to you also is, again, when you look at how most of the homes on North Shore Estates Road are placed, which is, you know, right there along the lakefront, most of the homes are built on the front third of their properties. And so the idea of placing a shed or accessory building in front of one of those homes would obviously be very visible in most situations. And our property is unique in the fact that the home is built at the back third of the property. And so there's so much area that separates it and makes it not visible from the road and also from any of the other properties around us. And again, I did include the package a letter from Don Freefeld, who's directly my neighbor to the south. And then Brad Gruzinga, who's here, is the next property over. And I had him come over and check out the layout and et cetera. And he offered his support, not only in written letter, but here tonight as support as a neighbor also. So any questions that maybe I haven't answered for you thus far?
Okay. We do have a letter of support from your neighbor to the south on property at 17610.
Okay, and maybe I said it wrong. So I think
the
Don
house that's up
Freefeld
on-
is on, yeah, so that's
Yeah.
Don Freefeld. He's on the south side of me.
Yeah.
And then to the north side, the property next to me is a vacant property, which I'm not sure whether it's developable or anything else, but at this point, that property is completely vacant, so no one can view my property from that side, so.
In my opinion, it would be a challenge to put a home on that property, but there's always somebody up to that, who
Yeah.
knows? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to enter into the record, we have 3 letters of support from the neighbors. Joel articulated one, we had 3 in total. We don't need to enter their names in, do we, Craig?
Name and address?
Yeah, go ahead. Name and address.
You want me to do it? Got it.
We have a letter of support from Asif and Karen Arodian. I lost the other 2. Yeah, I got them. A letter of support from Don Freefeld. Another one.
Still missing one?
I'm
Maybe
missing
there's
one.
some stuff
All right, I
together
got the third one. It's
Yeah, I got it.
there we go.
There we go.
Brad.
I think he just found your letter
Yeah,
is what
here.
he was confirming.
There you go.
And a letter from Brad Ruzinga.
A good neighbor here.
Okay, letters of support. At this point, we have no letters of opposition, Craig?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions from anybody up here, or? No? All right, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing here at 7:14, and I will go ahead and read the Horizon Community Planning document into the record. All right, overview. An application was submitted requesting a retroactive approval for excess accessory building square footage and the placement of a new shed within the front yard. The lot is zoned dune residential. Proposal, the applicant previously placed a 10-foot by 20-foot, 200 square foot shed next to the existing 576 square foot detached garage. The garage is assumed to be an existing non-conforming structure. Zoning and property information, the subject lot is conforming as it complies with the width, 100 feet, and the lot size, 12,000 square feet. Requirements for the RD zoning district. However, the principal dwelling is located toward the rear of the property, and the rear yard is wooded, narrow, and rolling. Accessory buildings are only permitted in rear yards and on interior lots in accordance with section 3.130, subsection F, subsection 1, subsection A. Unless otherwise provided for by this ordinance, no detached accessory building, structure, or use shall be erected or placed within any front yard or within a side yard unless located behind the rear dwelling line. The ground floor of the dwelling is 990 square feet, which allows for 396 feet of detached accessory building square footage. The existing non-conforming detached garage exceeds this allowance by 180 square feet. The maximum area requirement is included in section 3.130, subsection F, subsection 5. Area, unless otherwise provided for by this ordinance, the total square footage of all accessory buildings located on a lot shall not exceed 40% of the rear yard area, or 40% of the ground floor area of on the largest floor of the principal dwelling located on the lot, whichever is less, pursuant to the above calculation. A basement shall not be considered a floor for purpose of this section. B, the floor area of the principal dwelling should not include the areas devoted to an attached garage, attached carport, unenclosed porch or deck, or other similar attached features, which is customarily not considered part of the dwelling unit living area. Standards for granting of variances. No variance in the provisions or requirements of the zoning ordinance shall be authorized by the Zoning Board of Appeals unless it is found from the evidence that all of the following conditions exist. 1, that compliance with the zoning ordinance would result in practical difficulties to be exceptional, extraordinary, or unique circumstances or conditions in the land or parcel, such as exceptional narrowness of width or depth of a lot or parcel or an irregular shape. B, exceptional natural or topographic features located on the lot or parcel, such as steep slopes, water, existing significant trees, or other unique extreme physical conditions of the land. C, extraordinary location of an existing building or structure that allows no other practical or feasible location for expansion because of exceptional features of the land. D, other exceptional or extraordinary dimensional conditions or characteristics of the land, lot, or parcel. Findings. Section 3.130, subsection F, subsection 1, subsection A. Front yard placement variance, the topography, wooded nature, and location of the principal dwelling are exceptional and extraordinary, and these conditions impact the compliant placement of an accessory building. Section 3.130 F5, area variance, the topography, wooded nature, and location of the principal dwelling have no relationship to allowable accessory square footage. There is no practical difficulty as it relates to compliance within this requirement. 2, that the unusual circumstances do not apply to most other lots or parcels in the same manner or to the same extent to other lots or parcels in the same zoning district. Findings. Section 3.130 F1A, front yard placement variance. Although some parcels may have similar characteristics, the topography, wooded nature, and location of the principal dwelling are unique. Section 3.130 F5, area variance. The fact that the ground floor of the principal dwelling is 990 square feet is not unique. Additionally, a 576 square foot non-conforming detached accessory garage already exists on the site, equivalent to the rights associated with the dwelling with a ground floor of 1,440 square feet. 3, the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right. The possibility of increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed sufficient to warrant a variance. Findings, section 3.130 F1A, front yard variance. The applicant already has a substantial existing non-conforming property right of a 576 square foot detached accessory garage. If no accessory buildings were present on the site, a front yard variance or front yard placement variance would be reasonable to preserve substantial property right based on the conditions of the rear yard. Section 3.130F5, area variance. A variance is not necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right. The owner is permitted to continue use of a 576 square foot detached garage, which is determined to be a substantial property right already in place. Number 4, that the grantee of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent and nearby land uses and properties. Findings: front yard placement variance. Front yard placement of an accessory building will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent and nearby land uses and properties. Area variance. An additional 200 square foot shed will not cause substantial detriment to adjacent and nearby land uses and properties. 5, that the applicant shall have not created the problem for which the variance is being sought. Findings: front yard placement variance. Regarding the front yard placement, the problem with the compliant placement is not self-created, but rather arises from the unique extraordinary circumstances of the lot and the principal dwelling's location. Area variance. The problem for which the variance is being sought is a personal desire for additional storage space. Utility and storage space already exists in the basement, see previous real estate listing, and detached garage. This means the problem is self-created, so the standard cannot be met. 6, that the grantee of the variance will not be contrary to the public interest and that the spirit of this ordinance shall be observed, public safety secured, and substantial justice done for both the applicant and other property owners in the district. Findings: front yard variance. Granting of a variance for the front yard placement in cases of unique circumstances can be justified and consistent with the spirit and intent of this ordinance. Area variance. Granting excess square footage would be contrary to public interest because the variances should not be granted unless there is practical difficulty resulting from a unique characteristic of the lot or land. Square footage beyond an existing non-conforming right to extra square footage is inconsistent with the ordinance's intent. Recommendation: in my opinion, only one of the 6 variance standards for the excess square footage can be met, and therefore the variance should not be issued, while all 6 standards for the front yard placement may be able to be met. It is a moot point as extra square footage cannot be justified. Please note that any motion supporting or opposing the variance request must specifically reference the ZBA's findings concerning all applicable standards based on the zoning ordinance and recent case law. The minutes and written record of this discussion must document the ZBA's findings and conclusions on all 6 standards. If the ZBA agrees with this position, the motion could reference the findings in this report. If the ZBA disagrees and believes the variance for additional square footage is justified, it must develop its own findings in support of the variance. If this is the case, a worksheet is provided for your use. I have one thing to note. I see in here they're talking about the garage as non-conforming. Are they calling that just non-conforming based on current zoning ordinance, or was it non-conforming when it was built? I think we were working on the presumption that it was conforming when it was built, and I guess I'm confused why they're calling it non-conforming now.
I understand your question. We're saying it's not conforming due to the current zoning ordinance.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman? Upon inspecting the site, parcel number 700318204001, commonly known as 17652 North Shore Estate Road, I move we extend the requested, that we accept the requested variance. The homeowner has presented information regarding the original construction of the home and garage in about 1980 or 1983. The placement of the storage shed is complementary of the unique site, and it is not visible from the North Shore Estate roads because of topography of the site as well as the heavily forested property. The only adjoining property owner who can see the building has indicated that they are in favor of the variance. There being no alternative site on the property for and its thoughtful location, it makes common sense for this board to grant the variance.
Your motion was
That is my motion,
to approve it.
to approve it, yes.
I'll support that.
Roll call vote, please, Craig?
Well, as Mr. Jurosik indicated, that we should go through these standards and indicate why the area variance is being approved,
You need to read each one of them?
please.
Okay.
So, the area variance, the practical difficulty,
There we go.
That's the little worksheet they provided us.
Yeah, okay. Compliance with the zoning ordinance would result in practical difficulties to be exceptional, extraordinary, or unique circumstances or conditions of the land or parcel, such as A, exceptional narrowness of the width or depth of a lot or parcel or an irregular shape. B, exceptional nature or topographic features located on the lot or parcel, such as steep slopes, existing significant trees, or other unique or extreme physical conditions of the land. C, extraordinary location of an existing building or structure that allows no other practical or feasible location for expansion because of exceptional features of the land. D, other exceptional or extraordinary dimensional conditions or characteristics of land, lot, or parcel. Do we need to discuss the findings of Horizon?
That's your findings.
My finding is that that all of those things exist, that there is a width problem, and especially there is a depth problem in not allowing the building to be placed behind the home, that as well as the unique characteristics of the property because of the dunes themselves.
So I think Mr. Jurosik has indicated in his report that the variance would be approved for the location. His concern is the size, the square footage of both units together.
Would it be acceptable
But
if
we already have an accepted usage of the 500 and the garage portion of the accessory buildings. And I don't see that we have a difficulty with either vision or the use of the property. Continuing. That the unusual circumstances do not apply to most or other lots or parcels in the same manner or to the same extent to other lots or parcels in the same zoning district. Findings, section 3.13, front yard placement variance. Although some parcels may have similar characteristics, the topography, wooded nature, and locations of the principal dwellings are unique. And indeed, they are unique. And I think that is the reason for my having made the motion that I have made, that it makes common sense that the homeowner be allowed to place some additional storage where it is practical for his usage, and it is not a detriment to the overall appearance and or values established within the neighborhood. Item 4, that the granting of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent and nearby land use and properties. The front yard placement of the accessory building will not be substantial detriment. So basically, Horizon is in agreement with my findings on the request for the acceptance. Number 5, that the
Excuse me.
applicant,
Excuse me, Mr. Lyons.
yeah,
So,
is 4?
yeah, number 4 is it's not going to be a detriment. That's why the area variance is being,
Yeah,
Accepted.
it's a problem with area variance, but common sense would indicate that because of the location of and the topography and wooded areas within the property, that there should be no need to turn down this request.
okay, thank you. And going back to number 3,
Number 3, back to number 3. That the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right. The possibility of increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed sufficient to warrant variance. Front yard placement variance should be reasonable to preserve a substantial property right based on the condition of the rear yard. Since there is no possibility to place this additional storage building on the lot, I think the fact that it is being placed very complementary to the property and with regard to the neighbors and the overall community, I see no reason not to provide a variance for its placement. Number 4 we've handled. Number 5, that the applicant shall not have created the problem for which the variance is being sought. Certainly they have not created the problem as the result that the garage was built at the time that the home was built. Had that garage been or had the building site been moved forward, and there were room to put an additional storage building back there, assuming that when they built the home that the garage would have been built in place with the home as opposed to being a separate building. Once again, I think we have to go to common sense and practicality of the fact that the overall appearance and the location of the building in front of the home is a necessity, and is simply because of the topography of the property and the way that the home was situated on the property initially. That was 5. Number 6, that the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, and that the spirit of this ordinance shall be observed, public safety secured, and substantial justice done for both the applicant and other property owners in the district. I think I have voiced my opinion on that previously. I can't possibly see any impact on the financial security of homes that are either within the zoning district, and I certainly don't see that there is any conflict of the public's interest in allowing a 120 square foot building that is appropriately placed on the property to provide a convenience for the property owner. Good enough? Roll call vote.
Board Member Larrabell,
Yes.
Board Member DeWitt,
Yes.
Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Chairman Milligan,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 7, presentation. Application for appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Honor, we have an application from Timothy O'Donnell, 340 Ferry Street, longtime resident, EMT firefighter. Certified city planner, planning commission and ZBA certification. He's listed on his resume. I would make a motion that we Move his appointment to the city council for consideration.
Support.
Roll call vote, Craig.
Board Member DeWitt,
Yes.
Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Board Member Larrabell,
Yes.
Chairman Milligan,
No.
motion passed.
Reports, comments? Anyone, anything? Let's go to the order.
Got anything, Craig?
No.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Nice job. 7:35.
You talked a little fast. You know, it's 7:15.